Looking for a degree program that rewards you for what you already know? At WGU, all of our bachelor's and master's programs are competency-based, allowing you to progress at your own pace. Washingtonians know how valuable time and money are, and so do we. At WGU, your hard work and experience can help you finish your degree faster and for less. Join a community of driven professionals from across the DMV who are unlocking new career opportunities today. See how your knowledge can give you an edge at wgu.edu.
Good afternoon. Getting right down to business here. Doing it live, doing more at 4 weekday afternoons, right after Guy Benson and just before the 790 KBC News Blitz at 5. Mottek On Money, live on the air here in 790 KBC. Stay with us at 6 o'clock this evening for the Just Help One radio show and podcast presented by the Union Rescue Mission. I'll be back on the air at 6 this evening and every Thursday evening at 6 with Mark Hood, the CEO of the Union Rescue Mission. We are live right now here in 790 KBC, streaming live online worldwide at kbc.com and your on-demand Mottek On Money podcast, kbc.com, Apple iTunes, YouTube, all of your favorite podcast platforms. Stocks pulling back today. Crypto also taking a hit. It looks like gold, silver, and platinum, though, rallied. This as escalating tensions between President Trump and Tesla CEO Elon Musk took the spotlight. They've been locking horns. All this overshadowing a 90-minute phone call today between President Trump and China's leader, which had lifted investor optimism that a strained U.S.-China relationship could finally be thawing. The president today also met in person with the new German chancellor at the White House. President Trump recently delayed a planned 50% tariff on goods coming from the European Union, which would have otherwise gone into effect this month. The Dow came in for a closing loss today of 108 points. The S&P 500 down 31, and the Nasdaq slid 162 points. We did see gold pop nearly $9 here at $3,383. Silver is close to $36 an ounce, and platinum is above $1,100 now at $1,142 and change. We'll discuss the latest on the precious metals rally later this hour with Barry Stuppler, former president of the American Numismatic Association. Big day in the San Gabriel Valley today in Glendora for the dedication ceremony of the new Metro Gold Line station, which will soon be part of the Metro A-Line system, connecting Glendora all the way to Long Beach. Coming up later this hour, I'll discuss that big news with HABIB, BALIAN, the CEO of the Foothill Gold Line Construction Authority. But first, let's get right down to business here. The Main Street economy here in Los Angeles. Joining us live now, Los Angeles business leader, civic leader, leader in philanthropy, Rick Caruso, who's also now leading the Steadfast LA initiative, spearheading the rebuilding of Altadena, Malibu, and Pacific Palisades. Rick Caruso, thank you very much for coming to the line here this afternoon.
Frank, it's great being with you. As always, thanks for having me on. It's quite the day, isn't it?
It is. So much going on here, and thanks for focusing on the recovery efforts that you're now leading, and God bless you for doing that. The rebuilding of Altadena, Malibu, and Pacific Palisades. Why don't we start with that and tell us about how this effort is going?
You know, there's a lot of good progress happening, Frank, both in Altadena, Malibu, and in Palisades. The Steadfast team is out in all three of those areas. Again, a good shout out to the Army Corps of Engineers. They're ahead of schedule in all of those areas, which is great. But I think more needs to be done. You know, the county needs to be doing more to cut the red tape, get people back rebuilding it in their homes. The city needs to be doing the same. We've just got to have a better attitude that the number one priority, there's a lot of things that have to happen in the city and the county, but one of the top priorities has got to be get people back in their homes, get these businesses reopened, get jobs going again. People are just suffering out there. We got to get the schools open, the churches rebuilt. I don't see as much going on as I'd like to. I think we're making a big difference at Steadfast, but I still want to see more happening, Frank, and I think we need to demand more from our leaders to make it happen.
On there live with Rick Caruso, and you made some big announcements recently at Palisades Village, your fabulous place there in the Palisades, which for the most part survived the horrific firestorm which devastated that entire area, and you've been meeting with business leaders and business owners there. Tell us about your announcements there.
Well, this is a good example here is we announced the opening of an Elise Walker boutique. You know, her boutique burned down in the Palisades. It was a store that was out there for 25 years, probably the best multi-brand store in the country, women's retail store. And I reached out to Elise and I said, I have a real big idea, but I need a really great partner. And would you open your boutique in the village? She had another store in the village called Town, which was men's and women's, but the boutique was the powerhouse, and she's agreed to do it. And what that does, it sends a signal to everybody that the town is going to come back, because I really believe what happens in Altadena and in Palisades and in Malibu, it affects the whole region. So if there's positive news in one, it helps everybody. And what that does is jobs get created, revenue gets created, people get excited. If Elise Walker, if a great retailer believes in the future, there is a great future. And it just sends a wonderful signal, and it's going to pay off mightily for that whole community and get other businesses to reopen quicker and restaurants. And we've got some great ideas for Altadena, where we're going to be working with some new tenants to revitalize their downtown, which unfortunately most of it was burnt. We're working right now to redesign it, reimagine it at no cost to the people there. So we've got that. And then one of the most meaningful things we've done recently is the AI program in plan checking, which thanks to the great work of a guy named Mike Hopkins at Amazon and a firm out of Australia, Alcastar, came up with an AI program that does plan checking in the matter of hours instead of in the matter of months, which it normally takes in the city of LA. And that's going to save people tens of thousands of dollars and tens of thousands of hours. And we're excited about that. So there's some good things. We're working on the park rebuild. We're certainly helping with the schools get rebuilt. And we're leaning in also to make sure the underground is happening with the utilities, which is very important.
On the You're Live with Rick Caruso. And Rick Caruso, when we spoke at the Milken Institute Global Conference, where people were thrilled to see you there was a lot of attention focused on a very slow recovery with the permitting and all of that. And you released an op-ed article about the city's very, very slow permitting process and all of that. Do we have an update on how many permits have actually been issued? And again, give us your thoughts about this very slow go here.
Well, it's a good point, Frank. I mean, to have Mayor Bass running around saying this is the fastest recovery ever, I don't know who you're comparing it to, but you got to be comparing it to disasters that are still disasters. This is not a fast recovery. And the best metric for that is just what you mentioned. There's only about 50 or 60 building permits that have been issued in the city of LA. You've got thousands of homes. And so, a lot of it is, all these phrases and sentences and press conferences that, they want to make everybody feel good. The people that are in the middle of it, whether it's in Malibu or whether it's in Altadena or Palisades, they're not happy with the speed. They're not happy with what the city or the county are doing. They want to see more action. They want to have quicker turnarounds. They're not getting it. And I really do think it's a failure of the leadership that we have, and we've got to really sit back and think about what happened and what's happening now, and can this group of leaders that we have, the city council, the mayor, the county, can they rebuild this community? And I question that. It's been over 4 months now, and it's very slow going, and a lot of basic stuff isn't happening.
I think one of the most powerful moments when you debated then Karen Bass during the mayoral debates was when she said that she was planning to hire a vice mayor for the economy, and you point blank said, I don't need a vice mayor for the economy and business. What is it going to take to turn L.A. around here, given the $1 billion deficit now that the city is facing? And tomorrow is going to be an important day for the city budget and, of course, even the state facing tremendous budget challenges. Give us your thoughts here about how this can be turned around.
Well, it's unrealistic to think that anybody that has never had any experience in operating or managing a business or operating or managing a large organization, which the mayor never has, and we pointed out during the campaign, but that's in the past, is going to be able to have the experience, the know-how, the competency to manage this great city of ours. It's very complex and complicated. And because of her mismanagement, we now have a $1 billion budget deficit. And it's clear that our elected officials are not doing enough for the people they serve. And I really believe that we're at a tipping point. The recovery is going far too slow. They had a DWP that decided not to fill the reservoir. 6 million gallons of water were not available to fight the fire. She hasn't been fired yet. There's got to be more urgency in addressing these challenges. And the city's budget that you talked about, it really does signal our priorities. And safety has got to be the number one priority. But now they're talking about taking away investment from the police. The mayor had promised during the campaign she would grow the Los Angeles Police Department. Based on her proposals and what the city council is talking about doing, we're going to have 2.6 officers per 1,000 residents. Now listen to this. That's half as many as most other major cities. D.C. has 7.2. Chicago has 4.5 officers per 1,000. New York, 4.2 officers per 1,000. But Los Angeles has half. The recruiting numbers are dropping, and they're putting the city at risk. Our crime is going up. We don't have enough officers to protect our city. The homeless population continues to grow. I don't know. I think LA's in a tough spot, and I hope the residents of LA, make some really smart decisions about the future of our great city.
And speaking of that, and I know you've been asked about this recently on some of your big interviews on a national scale recently. In fact, here on 790 KBC with Guy Benson, as well as on some of the other major networks. Rick Caruso, have you made a decision whether you're going to be running for mayor again, or perhaps go for governor?
I haven't yet, Frank. Believe me, I'll let you know. I'm certainly getting encouraged by a lot of people to do it. Both to run for mayor and to run for governor. I feel honored that people have, the confidence in me for either of those two jobs. But right now I'm going to focus on Steadfast. I'm really literally spending 90% of my time on Steadfast issues, getting these communities rebuilt. And after summer, I'll make a decision on what I'm doing. So I got some time to think about it. But more importantly, I have time to help people get their communities rebuilt.
On there live with Rick Caruso. Of course, we'll have an open line to you, and certainly looks like homelessness has moved up on the list of business concerns here in the Los Angeles area, based on the latest Pulse poll put out by the Los Angeles Business Federation. And you have done wonders on especially helping homeless children here in the Los Angeles area, which is absolutely heartbreaking. You've also been on the Just Help One radio show and podcast. In fact, that particular edition will be repeated on the air tonight here on 790 KBC when you spoke to the CEO, Mark Hood, who replaced recently the Reverend Andy Bales after a 20-year tenure there. Give us your thoughts about what's happening on the homeless front and all of this heartbreak out there, and what needs to be done to turn things around.
What we need to do, Frank, because the homeless population is growing, just anybody should look at the numbers. Don't listen to the elected officials. We have billions of dollars that are missing. Now we have an investigation into where the billions of dollars have gone. I guarantee it's not going to end well. And the thing that is the most heartbreaking is the growing population are elderly and families. We have more kids on the street now than ever before. Children on the street now than ever before. The LA Times has been reporting that. I don't know how we tolerate it, Frank. It's just heartbreaking. It's wrong to have people suffering on the streets. We've got organizations like the Union Rescue Mission that do incredible work. We should all be supporting their work. Downtown Women's Center, incredible work. There's a number of them. The money should be going to these nonprofit organizations that have a track record of success. Get it out of the hands of the government agencies that waste the money, steal the money, certainly don't properly invest the money. There's no results that are coming out of these billions of dollars that are being spent. But there's incredible results coming out of these nonprofits that are dedicated, who are smart, who are trained in getting people off the street, off drugs, help them with the mental health conditions that they may have, and get them back on the streets to live a productive life. It's so clear that this problem can be solved. California now has over 200,000 homeless people, and the majority of those are in Los Angeles, and that population continues to grow. We're not doing the right thing statewide. We're certainly not doing the right thing locally.
It's absolutely shocking. And what the population here in Los Angeles estimated to be about 75,000 homeless. The population of Beverly Hills, the entire population of Beverly Hills is 35,000. And as you pointed out, the homeless population here in the Los Angeles area is actually larger than the population of most cities in the United States at this point.
Yeah, the majority of the cities in the United States are 40,000 people on average. We've got basically an average of 2 American cities living on our streets. They're impacting our neighborhoods, our communities, our businesses, the ability for kids to walk to school, for businesses to thrive, especially the small businesses, the impact. It's destroying our downtown. Our downtown has, 30-40% vacancy rate in our Class A high-rise. Firms have moved out of downtown, which has a terrible impact on all the small businesses that are dependent on that daytime population. So there's this domino effect that happens, and you get into a spiral. We still have those towers that have all the graffiti on it. Why hasn't the mayor done something about that? It's an embarrassment to the city. It's a terrible signal about this city, about the mismanagement of it. So we can do better. It can all be fixed. It's going to take the right leadership, but we're still the greatest city. We're still in the greatest state. We've just got to really focus and be smart about how we lead our way out of this.
Well, we have the chance to ask you, what about those towers there in downtown, so-called graffiti towers? That was to have been a $1 billion project originally by Chinese developers. You think it might have to ultimately be torn down, or is that salvageable at this point? What do you think is going to happen there?
I don't know structurally. The longer those are staying up there structurally, the more they're at risk from deterioration. My proposal early on was go to the city, the county, the state, and the federal government, put a package together to have those bought. They should be bought for almost nothing. There's no value to them. There's probably negative value, but bought for almost nothing. Make the investment, convert them to workforce housing for fire, police, and teachers that work in the region. Our firefighters, our paramedics, teachers, LAPD, many, many, many are driving 2 hours to and from work. Unsustainable. And that would be such a great thing to build up the police department, build up the fire department, and supporting our teachers. We've got to think out of the box, and there's ways to do things, and that would be a really positive message and an important priority for this community.
That is a wonderful idea, and how can people best support your efforts with Steadfast LA? And by the way, before we conclude here, so many people look to you for inspiration. Angela Marsden, for example, the restaurant owner in Sherman Oaks, with her restaurant, who comes on this program, just shouting out to City Hall, which has been falling on deaf ears, all of her concerns on business and regulation and taxes, as well as crime and homelessness. Maybe you can leave us with some more encouragement for all of the business people here in Los Angeles who look to you for inspiration.
Well, listen, I love small businesses. I obviously love this city and this community, and I think it's getting people active. The elected officials, the thing they fear most is not getting reelected. That's all they know. And so, most of these people wake up in the morning and they look at where the wind is blowing, and that's their policies. And so they hear from a small group of people that maybe are directing policies in a direction that I don't believe, reflect the needs or the majority of this great city. People want a safe city. They want the homeless off the streets. They want to be able to thrive and build a business, educate their kids. Everybody has to start demanding that. of their council members, their county supervisors, their mayor. And the way you get their attention is by being loud, is calling them, sending letters. Never violence, never any of that. And then if people are not listening, elected officials are not listening, fire them by not voting for them. And bring in people that are more moderate, more understanding, that listen, that understand the priorities of the community and understand who they're serving. And I think we can make changes, huge changes with that. We've seen it in other parts of the country. We're seeing it in San Francisco. New leadership, new mayor, new directives, new school board, new district attorney. It happened here with our district attorney. People finally got fed up, and they fired Gascon. They hired Hockman. So it can and will change. The power of the people is unstoppable. So start using your power, and this city will be back to where we want it to be.
That's wonderful, Rick Caruso. Thank you very much for taking the call here this afternoon and for the extra time here today. We do appreciate it. All of us are with you. And Hudson, the chief fun officer, is it? The golden retriever? I'm sure he's right there with you right now. Any Hudson updates?
He is right at the base of my feet at my desk. And we just took a great walk around the Grove. The Zara store just opened up at the Grove. So Hudson and I took a walk through it, and it's great, and we have a huge Nike run event going on here at the Grove, and it's just a lot of fun. It's in the park and up on top of the parking structure, so it's super fun and active here, and everybody's having a great time on this gorgeous LA day.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much, Rick Caruso, for making it wonderful for everybody there and throughout Los Angeles at all of your fabulous places here. Rick Caruso, thank you very much for joining us live here this afternoon.
Frank, you're LA's best. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very, very much. Rick Caruso, leading the Steadfast LA initiative, leading the rebuilding of Altadena, Malibu, and Pacific Palisades, and, of course, developer of the most popular shopping destinations here in the Los Angeles area, including the Grove, which you just mentioned, as well as Palisades Village, which will be opening next year, he said, and all the other fabulous places. Live with us here on Mottek On Money on 790 KBC. Mottek On Money continues, 790 KBC. Big day for precious metals today. We'll get into it in just a moment with Barry Stuppler. Gold popping, silver above $35 an ounce, close to $36 now. Platinum above $1,142 an ounce here at last check. Gold hovering at around $3,383 an ounce. The Dow pulling back 108 points. S&P 500 down 31. The Nasdaq down 162. The yield in the 10-year note at 4.39%. Bitcoin pulling back today at 101,494. Ethereum back to 2,423. Doge is all the way down to 17 cents. And now the latest news here on 790 KBC.
Looking for a degree program that rewards you for what you already know? At WGU, all of our bachelor's and master's programs are competency-based, allowing you to progress at your own pace. Washingtonians know how valuable time and money are, and so do we. At WGU, your hard work and experience can help you finish your degree faster and for less. Join a community of driven professionals from across the DMV who are unlocking new career opportunities today. See how your knowledge can give you an edge at wgu.edu.
Expert entrepreneur Ed Milet is on a mission to max out your life.
We're throwing open the metaphorical closet doors of our lives. We're going to be cleaning out the closet. What no longer fits? Audit some of your relationships. How about auditing your emotions? Maybe it's your career you need to look at. Get your life together for this season.
The Ed Milet Show.
It's time for a little cleaning of the soul. Let's get a little ruthless, a little refreshing, and a little real. God bless you, everyone.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Mottek On Money continues here, 790 KBC. Gold, silver, and platinum all moving higher today. Crypto's pulling back on concerns about the U.S. dollar, among other things. Joining us live now is Barry Stuppler, founder and president of Mint State Gold by Stuppler & Company, past president and board of directors member of the American Numismatic Association. Barry Stuppler, thank you very much for coming to the line here this afternoon.
It's been an exciting day. Getting a lot of calls for people who want to buy some silver, and running a special on Buffalo trade units at only $1.99. But yesterday, silver closed, that's $1.99 over the spot price of silver. But yesterday, silver closed at $34.47, and gold closed at around 33.52. And the trade, I've been expecting some type of news that's going to affect the markets bullishly ever since the drone attack in Russia. I think Putin's going to retaliate, and when he does, it's going to help the markets go up substantially. So I've been kind of watching the markets carefully. Asia was quiet, Australia was quiet, the Middle Eastern markets as we moved around the globe were somewhat quiet, but when I got into London, the market on gold started moving, and started moving in $20 and $30 brackets, so it got to as high as 34.06, and then it hit some resistance, but at the same time, silver was moving up also, and it broke above $35, and part of that was the news announcement from the Silver Institute that they're expecting another $117 million ounce deficit this year. That's combining with the 800 million ounce deficit we've had since 2021. That combined with a weaker dollar took silver well over $35, and that instituted a lot of short sellers. A lot of traders, silver traders and commodity experts have been short silver because the last two times silver got up to $35 earlier this year and last year, silver collapsed. It dropped $2, $3, $4, and they made some good money. So a lot of these guys have shorted the market. So when silver broke above $35 and started looking strong as gold was moving up, it got to $35.50, $35.75, and then crossed over $36. You saw a lot of these short selling people just absolutely covering their shorts and running for cover because that's a 13-year high in the silver price, and that's driving the market. So we're seeing a lot of activity right now, and particularly with the gold to silver ratio at 94-1. You have to understand, historically, it's been between 40 and 60-1. And at the current price of gold, you're looking at maybe $60 per ounce, and there's no resistance level between the $35. The next resistance level is $40 for silver. So we're seeing a lot of activity, a lot of dealer buying today, and they're all looking for, obviously, silver based upon the current price. So it's been an exciting day.
As a matter of fact, Barry, we've been having these conversations for decades. I've never heard you this excited, by the way, on these conversations here. So a lot going on, as you said. Obviously, a lot of geopolitical concerns about the dollar, the economy overall, and so forth. So silver taking the spotlight here. I'm looking at it here just below $36 an ounce here at the moment. And platinum also getting a new shine here at $1,142.90 is what I see here. Platinum making a big move on the upside recently, cracking above $1,100 an ounce, something we haven't seen in quite some time.
You have to realize platinum has been trading between $800 and $1,000 since 2015. So it's been dead. It's been dead money, and I try to keep our clients away from it because it hasn't done much. And you have to understand when in 2015, when it was trading at 800, gold was at 1,000. Now gold has tripled in value, and platinum was still at the same price range. So platinum's starting to look good and attractive, but it needs to get above 1,200 and stay there for a little while to get some support from the traders, because they look at the activity of the metal and how much support it has and demand it has. So if it gets above $1,200, it could be a buy. It's a lot similar to silver, where silver has had a resistance level of $35. The next resistance level for silver is $40. So you're talking about a good 10 to 15% return in a relatively short time. That's why it's an active market right now.
And certainly it's human nature. When things hit record highs, they get attention. Both silver and platinum, of course, are well off their all-time highs, but these big moves on the upside getting attention with prices we haven't seen in at least a decade here. And gold still near its record high here, Barry Stuppler. As you noted, what do you see ahead for gold prices, silver prices, and platinum prices?
Well, as June rolls on, first I expect a really big jump when there's something that happens in the Ukraine, because Putin has said he's going to do something, and that's going to jump the market. Now the question is that going to continue the market roll on? Gold is really, if it crosses 3,400 again, like it did last night, then we're on the track to 3,500. 3,500 is a resistance level, and hopefully it will trade between 34 and 3,500 for at least a couple weeks to give it some good support, build up a good consolidation, and give it a good base for the next leg higher. I still expect gold to be at 4,000 by year end, and I'm looking for silver now. Originally, I was looking for $40 by year end. I've raised that estimate to $45 now. So because just by the demand, and if silver can hold above 35 and get back above the $36 level, we could see $40 within the next month. So there's just a lot of activity there and a lot of demand. I didn't realize how much demand there was until we went to work today, and I had lots of dealers and investors wanting to buy silver as quickly as possible. So it's an active market, and there's a lot more activity in buying silver than there is in buying gold. Gold, a lot of people have made a lot of money and don't want to necessarily buy any additional gold, even though it's going higher. But silver has got a lot more upside, so in terms of percentage-wise. So that's why we're seeing all the demand primarily focused on silver.
All right, terrific, Barry. Well, thank you very much for taking this call on a banner day for silver and platinum and gold hanging in there, too, near its record high. Barry Stuppler, founder and president of Mint State Gold by Stuppler & Company, based in the San Fernando Valley. Barry Stuppler, also past president of and board of directors member of the American Numismatic Association. Always great to speak with you, Barry. Thank you very much for taking the call here this afternoon.
My pleasure, Frank. Nice. Thank you for calling.
Yes. Thank you very much, Barry. And out to the freeways we go now on 790. KBC.
Looking for a degree program that rewards you for what you already know? At WGU, all of our bachelor's and master's programs are competency-based, allowing you to progress at your own pace. Washingtonians know how valuable time and money are, and so do we. At WGU, your hard work and experience can help you finish your degree faster and for less. Join a community of driven professionals from across the DMV who are unlocking new career opportunities today. See how your knowledge can give you an edge at wgu.edu.
Former U.S. Navy SEAL Sean Ryan captures real stories about sacrifice and strength.
We go into this hooch searching for Christ knows what.
Regardless if anybody else does it, will you do it?
There's a lot of things that are hurtful and disturbing.
Can't get anybody to talk about it.
Uncovering truth with the heroes who live to tell it.
There's a saying, there's no atheist in a foxhole.
That was the hardest part for you coming home.
Was.
How'd you get through it?
I worked hard.
The Sean Ryan Show.
You ready?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Mottek On Money continues here in 790 KBC. Big day, big celebration in the San Gabriel Valley today in Glendora for the dedication ceremony of the new Metro Gold Line station, which will soon be part of the Metro A-Line system, connecting Glendora to Long Beach. And joining us live now is Habib Balian, the CEO of the Foothill Gold Line Construction Authority. Habib Balian, it was fantastic seeing you there today with the business and civic leaders, and thank you very much for taking the call here this afternoon.
Oh, my pleasure, Frank, and thank you for being there. It was a big day in the San Gabriel Valley.
Absolutely, and you were right there and addressing that great standing room only crowd there. Tell us about the importance of today's occasion.
Well, today in Glendora was the first of 4 station dedications along this extension of the Foothill Gold Line, now known as the Metro A-Line. It'll go through the cities of Glendora, San Dimas, Laverne, and Pomona, and it is a $1.5 billion project, and it brings Long Beach accessible now to the San Gabriel Valley with the extension of this great line.
That is very exciting, and this has been a tremendous boost to the economy of the San Gabriel Valley for many, many years now. I remember being with you, I believe it was back in 2008, right, for the first groundbreaking ceremony there at a time when everyone was talking about shovel-ready projects and all that, and certainly the shovels have been ready and busy in that area.
Oh, that's right. Since the Great Recession back in 2008, we've been hard at work building this project one segment at a time. This is the 3rd segment we've completed on time and on budget, and we're looking forward to the next segment that'll take us to Montclair. And once we're in the Inland Empire, we know our ridership on this line will almost double with that access now to the Inland Empire. So this is big for the cities, transformative. With their development and the opportunity for more high-density housing. People can give up their cars or maybe a second car in their household and give them an option to getting on that 210 freeway. They can get on safe, reliable public transit.
That is very exciting. And all along the line, we've seen pretty significant residential and commercial development, right? Tell us about how this great project, the extension of the Metro Gold Line, has impacted really the entire San Gabriel Valley there.
Yeah, it's transformed the San Gabriel Valley. I mean, if you look from Pasadena and you continue east, you see the changes that occurred in each of the cities. Pasadena, of course, there's thousands of residential units have been built up, partly because of the Gold Line coming to Pasadena. But then as you travel further east and you look what Gordy's doing right now, what Monrovia has done, it's tremendous. They've created these villages around the transit stations, and they've brought not only construction jobs and tax dollars, revenue for the cities during construction, but of course, long-term residential benefit of having residents within their city shopping and buying and doing all the things you need to do in the city on a day-to-day basis. So this is tremendous for these cities that are really going to see a tremendous amount of growth over the next 20 years. Nearly 2 million more people will live in the San Gabriel Valley over the next 20 years. And the cities have to prepare for that, and the Gold Line is one of those things that will help them do that.
And all along the line at these stations, you've honored the history and the legacy of all the great cities there in the San Gabriel Valley that you mentioned, including artwork and the theme of the various cities are certainly respected and honored and remembered. I saw you presented an artwork today at the ceremony with one of the artists who has his art on public display there. Tell us more about that.
Yes, the artist is Michael Hillman, and he was selected through a process where the city actually interviewed probably a dozen different artists that do public art. Michael was selected. He's a local artist. He actually grew up in Glendora, and he chose a theme for that looks to the history of Glendora, as all the stations do, look to the individual history, and they make references to the past. And then we also have a alignment artist, Christy Bittenson, who created a citrus pattern that pays homage to the citrus industry that was throughout the San Gabriel Valley. So it's really an opportunity for local history to be included in all of the aspects of the project. And I think the community really responds to that. And I think you saw that today with Michael's wonderful work on the station canopy bases.
That's beautiful. So this is the start of a series of dedication ceremonies. Another one this Saturday, right, in San Dimas. Can you lay out the schedule for it so people can join in the celebrations there?
Yeah, San Dimas is 10 a.m. At the San Dimas station, and we'll have elected officials. I think even federal officials will also be there, as well as city officials, all there to celebrate and dedicate this beautiful station. And you'll get a peek at the artwork and hear all about the artists and hear from the elected officials that represent the area.
All right, and now with these dedication ceremonies, then comes the excitement. When will we be able to get on board the new Metro Gold Line, or now the A line there in the San Gabriel Valley, and when we'll be able to ride through those new stations?
So we've completed the project. We've turned it over to Metro. Metro is in the process now of training their operators and preparing the line for revenue service. That's a process that's going on now, and they've told us, they signaled that sometime mid-summer, late summer is when they'll put it into service. I expect that we'll know within the next month what that date would be, and we're all very excited about that and looking forward to Metro operating great service throughout the San Gabriel Valley in the future.
And someday soon, will you be able to go from Glendora all the way to LAX, right?
Absolutely.
That's exciting. There's going to be a big announcement there tomorrow. Well, terrific. Habib, thank you very much for joining us live here this afternoon. All the best to you and your great team there, and look forward to seeing you there this weekend. Habib Balian, the CEO of the Foothill Gold Line Construction Authority, joining us live here on Mottek On Money on 790 KBC. Stay tuned now for the 790 KBC News Blitz with Randy Wang. And then at 6 o'clock this evening, it's the Just Help One radio show and podcast. I'll be back on the air at 6 tonight with the CEO of the Union Rescue Mission, Mark Hood, and Rick Caruso will be on this evening as well. So stay tuned on 790 KBC.
I am Michael Rosenbaum.
I am Tom Welling.
Welcome to Talkville,
where it's fun to talk about Smallville.
we're going to be talking to sometimes guest stars.
Are you liking the direction Lois is going in?
Yeah, because I'm getting more screen time.
It's good.
But mostly it's just me and Tom remembering.
I think we all feel like there was a scene missing here.
You got me, Tom.
Let's revisit it. Let's look at it. See what we remember.
See what we remember.
I had never been around anything like that before. I mean, it was so fun.
Talkville.
Talkville.
I just had a flashback.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Let's get into it.